Hi, welcome to the PhoneArena video review of the ViewSonic ViewPad 7, a 7-inch tablet running Android 2.2. This directly competes with the Samsung Galaxy Tab, however comes in at a lower price point with lower specifications. Let's take a look to see if ViewSonic have laid it with enough good stuff to make it a good tab. First off, we'll see the screen. At a resolution of 800 by 480 pixels, it's much lower pixel density than the Galaxy Tab, and this shows. Everything looks quite soft, with overall detail being really not that great. In addition to that, contrast levels and viewing angles are very poor. When watching a movie on it, for example, tilting it ever so slightly up in a vertical plane means you can lose track of what you're watching completely. This is a real shame, especially for a device of this size with a screen that could potentially deliver such a good overall experience. It is, however, capacitive LCD and is responsive to the touch, which is a plus, so if you're not looking for a movie device, then you may want to consider this. Looking around the device further, there's a camera, front-facing light sensor, 4 capacitive buttons to the side, a 3.5mm headphone jack, a mini USB port, an in-call speaker, and a reset button below. And to the top is a SIM card slot and a micro USB card slot, as well as 2 volume buttons. To the left is one side stereo speaker and the power button, and to the right the other sided stereo speaker. You may have noticed that we mentioned the 3.5mm headphone jacks at the bottom of the device. Sadly, this really is an inconvenience. When resting the device up to watch movies on, for example, it doesn't sit straight. And even in the supplied case, when the phone is meant to sit at an angle, it doesn't sit properly with headphones in. This is a real oversight in the design, and a real shame as well. Turn the device round to find the back-facing 3-megapixel camera, and absolutely nothing else, with a very simple, plain, matte, glossy back cover. The battery is not removable, so we can't take the device apart anymore, but suffice to say our first impressions of the ViewSonic ViewPad 7 aren't the best. It has a lackluster screen, and it has a few fatal design flaws that just really make it a little bit impractical. Taking a look at the interface of the ViewPad 7, it's evident that it's a pretty stock Android, with a dialer in the right hand corner, where you can access call log, contacts and favorites, as well as a menu which you can pull up, which by the way has a nice 3D effect, and the internet browser. As you can see, nothing really huge to report. When it comes to the menu, there aren't any applications that you wouldn't find on the stock Android, except for perhaps a note taker and a file browser. So let's just go straight into the core things. Looking at the gallery, when it comes to pictures, the ViewSonic ViewPad 7 supports multi-touch. Can take a while for the images to render up nicely, but once they do, everything operates relatively smoothly. As far as video goes, it supports video in MP4 format, but doesn't go to HD resolution.
Hello, Dr. Cockroach, PhD. I'm not a quack, I'm a mad scientist.
As you can see when jumping around videos, it's not the smoothest experience, but nevertheless, it provides an overall good video experience. Having said that though, as we mentioned earlier, viewing angles are a real problem, so unless you're going to be holding it in front of you, we'd probably avoid getting this as a PMP player, a personal media player. Other core functions such as the music player operates with stock Android interface and functionality. Connectivity options include a GPS, Wi-Fi, 3G on board, as well as Bluetooth. It'd be nice to see Bluetooth keyboard support on tablets, but unfortunately the ViewSonic ViewPad 7 doesn't have it. As can be expected with Android 2.2 on board, The web browser supports pinch to zoom. There is limited flash support on the browser for some reason. We found it wasn't really up to the standards expected in standard Android 2.2 handsets, but nevertheless, as you can see, overall web provides a good experience, and as mentioned in the introduction, if someone's hard of sight, it makes perfect sense to get a larger screen tablet device such as this one. Maps on the ViewSonic ViewPad 7 work really quite well. With something like Maps, resolution isn't a big issue, and with the onboard Google navigation, the ViewSonic ViewPad 7 could double up as a GPS. It has pretty good battery life, lasting a couple of days if you don't use it too much. And in addition to that, it's a really great big size, so if someone has hard of sight, as with web browsing, it's ideal for the map support. To wrap up, we weren't blown away by the ViewSonic ViewPad 7, with its 600 MHz processor leaving us feeling it's a touch underpowered, and the screen and design flaws making us wonder how this could be used as a portable media player. It really doesn't leave us thinking of a niche market for it. Perhaps those who desperately want a larger screen and a decent internet experience. The other reason you might want to look at this is if you're hard of sight, as then pixel density won't matter as much and web browsing on a bigger screen will just be a bit more practical. Otherwise, we'd probably recommend other tablets over this one. You can look at the Dell Streak, which is a much smaller version with the same resolution screen at 5 inches, therefore far greater pixel density, and it also performs better overall with a better processor. Or a more direct competitor, the Samsung Galaxy Tab, which has a fantastic screen and is just pretty much better in every single department. Thanks for watching PhoneArena. This has been our video review of the ViewSonic ViewPad 7. For more on this and other handsets, please visit www.phonearena.com.